The FBI is charging former Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao with corruption and bribery. If convicted, she could face decades in prison.
Meanwhile, Thao stood by her attorney this morning outside the courtroom. He says that there's no evidence to support the charges.
Now, live from the Bay Area's local news station, this is KRON 4 News at 6.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being with us tonight on KRON 4 News at 6. I'm Grant Lotus.
And I'm Vicki Libiakis. Our top story tonight. The Department of Justice is charging former Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao with 6 counts of conspiracy, bribery, mail fraud, and wire fraud. Her partner, as well as businessmen David and Andy Duong, also facing charges. The DOJ says that the conspiracy between the defendants started just weeks before the November 2022 election when Thao narrowly became mayor. The indictment claims that she agreed to purchase housing units from the Duong family, also to extend their recycling contract in Oakland and hire a high-level city official to benefit them. This was allegedly in exchange for their financing of a negative mailer campaign against Thao's political rivals and $95,000 in payments to her partner, Andre Jones.
And there was also the alleged promise of additional payments. The U.S. Attorney's Office says as a result of the schemes, Thao broke the public's trust in city government.
The public needs to know it can trust those in charge of City Hall to work for the best interests of the people of Oakland. This public trust is broken when elected officials agree to a pay-to-play system to benefit themselves.
If convicted on all counts, Thao could face decades in prison, supervised release, or more than $1 million in fines. The indictment comes from a federal grand jury in Oakland.
Our KRON 4's Dan Kerman, he's been reviewing what it says and joins us now live in the studio with more. Dan, what are you seeing there?
Well, federal prosecutors say this indictment is all about bribery. In this case, they allege Thao and her partner were paid in return for political favors and influence. Since the FBI raided her home last June, former Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao has maintained she was not the target of the federal investigation. But this indictment tells a different story, with federal prosecutors alleging Thao agreed to granting special favors and influence to members of the Duong family that run Cal Waste Solutions in return for money for Thao and her partner Andre Jones.
Examples of promises allegedly made by Thao include her agreement to purchase housing units from a company owned by the Duong family, her agreement to ensure the extension of a contract for recycling services that the city of Oakland had with one of David and Andy Duong's companies, and her agreement to use influence to help appoint a high-level city official to benefit the Duong's business interests. In exchange, the Duongs allegedly provided payments to Thao and Jones in various forms, including the financing of a negative mailer campaign targeting Thao's political rivals, and providing Jones and Thao with $95,000 in direct payments disguised as wages for a no-show job for Jones, with the promise of additional payments, all intended to benefit both Thao and Jones.
The 22-page indictment relies on text messages, emails, and the word of an unidentified co-conspirator. Following Thao's mayoral victory in 2022, the indictment includes this text message between co-conspirator 1 and Andy Duong, where co-conspirator 1 texted, "So we may have to go to jail, but we are $100 million richer." Andy Duong replied, "Money buys everything." And co-conspirator 1 replied, "You are right." The co-conspirator is not named or charged, and legal experts say that's who defendants will go after first.
You have people who cooperate with the government and say, for example, I was involved and here's what went on at the time. They will attack them saying they are getting some special treatment from the federal government, and then they have to look at what corroborates what those people are saying.
The indictment also relies on the transfer of payments between the defendants.
As often the case, the accused left a money trail from their deceptive acts of corruption.
While the indictment indicates payments went to Thao's partner Jones, Thao benefited because soon after Jones began receiving payment from co-conspirator 1, Jones paid the entirety of their rent and increased his contribution to or paid the entirety of shared bills with Thao. Federal prosecutors say they are still continuing with this investigation. There could be other defendants, not at this time, though. All of these defendants are due back in court in early February. Grant, Vicki?
All right, Dan. Well, all 4 people named in the indictment, including Thao, appeared before a federal judge today.
KRON 4's Rob Nesbitt was in the courtroom where all 4 pleaded not guilty.
It was a packed courtroom today in Oakland with Sheng Thao, Andre Jones, David and Andy Duong all present with their attorneys. We heard from lawyers, but the accused are staying silent.
24 hours after the federal indictment was announced, listing the charges against Sheng Thao, the former Oakland mayor appeared before a judge, pleading not guilty and saying very little. Her attorney, Jeff Tsai, went on the defense on her behalf.
Today's indictment and the press conference that was held by the government earlier this morning was successful in grabbing headlines. But what it did not do was serve the ends of justice.
The federal charges accusing Thao and her partner Andre Jones of accepting bribery money from recycling company owners David and Andy Duong came 7 months after federal agents raided the home of Thao and Jones. Tsai questions the timing of the indictment against his client, fresh off a recall.
The mayor looks forward to defending herself against these charges, showing that there is in fact no evidence to support these charges, and we will look forward to doing that in the courtroom.
If found guilty, all 4 listed in the indictment could each face up to 30 years in prison. Jones requested a court-appointed lawyer.
Any comments, sir, on the charges against you?
Ignoring reporters on his way out of the courthouse. Andy Duong's attorney sent a statement saying, quote, "The allegations are baseless and being fanned by nothing more than gossip and supposition stitched together by the fabrications and delusions of those who lack all fundamental credibility." The lawyer for his father, David Duong, sent a separate statement saying, quote, "Mr. Duong denies wrongdoing and will vigorously defend these allegations in court. He looks forward to prevailing in this case and continuing his decades of service, philanthropy, and devotion to our community and the Bay Area."
Thao surrendered her passport to authorities and was told by the judge not to leave the northern and eastern districts of California. Her next court date is scheduled for February 6th. Reporting in the newsroom, I'm Rob Nesbitt, KRON 4 News.